Amanda Haines is the Executive Director of the New Jersey Election Law Enforcement Commission, also known as ELEC. They play a vital role in making sure elections in our state are transparent and accountable. Amanda, welcome to the show. It's good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, let's start with the basics. For viewers who may not know, can you talk about what exactly it is ELEC does and what it is your mission is?
So ELEC's goal is to provide information to voters and the general public. So candidates for political office and committees that participate in elections have to file reports with ELEC that detail their campaign finances, so all of their contributions and their expenditures. Those reports are available for the public to view on our website. So our essential mission is to make sure as much information as possible to voters as they enter the voting booth.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about transparency, why that is so important in elections? What does it mean for the public to be able to see who is contributing to the campaigns and how the money is being spent?
So ELEC was created in 1973, in part because there was extreme just distrust of the government and of elections in general. Money was coming into elections that the public could guess where it came from, but simply had nothing to point to know where dollars were coming in and going out of campaigns. So when ELEC was created, the goal then is the same as now, is to create transparency. Now, it has advanced over the course of the last 50 years or so. However, the goal is to demonstrate where the money is coming from. So candidates are reporting where they receive their contributions from. And they're indicating what they're spending their money on so that the public can make their own decisions as to whether they feel as though candidates may be influenced by their contributors, whether certain types of contributors, certain business groups are supporting a particular candidate, and they can draw their own conclusions from that.
Yeah, and a lot of this happened, a lot of transparency and calls for transparency happened after Watergate, when it was famously said, sunshine, it is the best disinfectant.
That is correct. And many people don't realize that there were several campaign finance violations involved in the Watergate scandal.
Right. So now ELEC, it enforces the law, and that, as you mentioned, that means sometimes finding candidates who aren't following the rules. So can you talk us through or walk us through a little bit about the process, how that works, and why, again, it matters?
The enforcement process?
Yeah.
So the enforcement process, the goal of enforcement is compliance. Okay, so the goal of enforcement isn't raising fines or collecting dollars from respondents. So when it comes down to it, our goal is to get the respondent in compliance with the Campaign Act and to continue to keep them in compliance moving forward. So if someone were to receive a complaint, essentially they, like everybody else, has due process and have the ability to have a hearing on the merits of the complaint. But there's also the opportunity to file outstanding information or reports that may be delinquent during the process. And hopefully it's something that respondent can learn from moving forward to learn exactly what needs to be done in order to comply with the law.
Yeah. One thing that really stands out about New Jersey is its unique public financing program for the gubernatorial elections. Can you talk a little bit about how that works, why the state matches campaign contributions?
Sure. So our gubernatorial public financing program has been a model across the country since it was created, and it began in the 1977 general election. Was the first election that was gubernatorially public financed. So the way the public financing program works is candidates in the election that raise and spend a specific threshold amount of money. And this year it was $580,000. Those candidates can opt to participate in the public financing program. Once they do so, they are able to submit to ELEC their contributions and have those contributions matched at a $2 for $1 ratio. Now, in order to receive public funds, these candidates have to agree to participate in the ELEC designated debates. Now, depending on the election, whether it's a primary election or a general election, the number of debates varies. But since we're in the general election, there will be 2 debates between the candidates for governor and 1 debate between the candidates for lieutenant governor.
Yeah. So if the candidate accepts public funds, what you're saying is they're agreeing to certain rules, including caps on spending and, the requirements around the debate. Can you explain how that came into being? Again, this is about transparency, but, it's evolved over the past more than 50 years since you all have been in existence, and how they've, changed with the times and why those rules are in place.
Well, since these candidates agree both to participate in debates and to have a spending cap, they're essentially agreeing to only spend a certain amount of funds in the election. Someone who is either self-funding or is collecting contributions from additional sources and intends to spend in excess of whatever the contribution limit is, and therefore doesn't take public funds, they are able to spend in a way that is completely different than a publicly financed candidate. So these publicly financed candidates, by limiting their spending, they are enabled regardless of their sources. So someone who's not necessarily as well sourced of a candidate is able to participate in an election in a very competitive way by utilizing these public funds.
So finally, if a voter wants to learn more about whether it be campaign contributions, public financing, rules the candidates must follow, more about the debates that are upon us, where can they go for that information?
So they can go to our website, which is www.elec.nj.gov. There is a tremendous amount of information available on that website. We also have a compliance staff that is available to answer questions. We have a hotline, 609-292-8700. Between 9 and 5 every weekday, a person will answer your phone call and answer your questions if you have them.
Yeah. Always very, very busy. You're involved in all elections, not congressional or U.S. Senate, but any statewide office you all have a hand in. So I can't imagine how busy you are. And I'm so grateful that you're able to take the time to talk to us today. Anything else that you want our viewers to know that they may not understand or would like to just explain about ELEC before we end up here?
No, I will just leave it with, I encourage you to interact with our website and to reach out and ask questions if you have them. We'd be happy to help out and happy to provide information.
Amanda Haines, Executive Director of ELEC, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.